Welcome to my channel, English Made Easy. Do you want to sound more professional and confident in English?
You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting, you're trying to find just the right words in English. You totally agree with someone, but just saying yes feels kind of weak. Or maybe you disagree, but saying no just feels way too blunt. It's a super common challenge. Well, in this explainer, we're going to arm you with the tools to get way beyond those simple responses and really start having professional, persuasive conversations.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got a total conversation stopper. You are wrong. It's so direct, and it immediately makes the other person feel like they have to defend themselves. But on the right, I'm afraid I don't agree. That's a conversation starter. It's respectful, and it opens the door for a real discussion. That tiny shift in language is actually a huge leap in communication skill. So how do we make that leap? Let's break it all down.
Okay, first things first, we're going to master the foundation, and that is agreement. Now, this is about more than just saying yes. It's really about actively building bridges with people, creating a positive vibe, and showing everyone that you're on the same team. This is the essential starting point.
So think about what these phrases are really doing. They go so far beyond a simple "I agree." When you say something like, "That's a very good point," what you're really signaling is that you didn't just hear the other person, you actually valued what they had to say. That's active listening in action. The main takeaway here is to try swapping out a simple "I agree" with one of these much more impactful phrases.
Let's see how this works in a real conversation. Imagine a colleague says, "Practice is the key to improvement." Now, you could just say yes, and that's fine. But responding with, "That's a very good point," does so much more. It validates their insight, it reinforces their idea, and it actually strengthens the connection between you two. It's such a small change, but it has a huge impact on the whole dynamic of the conversation.
All right, it's time for the next level. You know, most discussions aren't just simple yes or no situations, are they? They're full of nuance. And this is where partial agreement becomes an incredibly powerful tool. It's a more advanced skill that shows you're not just listening, you're thinking critically and seeing the whole picture. Think of these phrases as your diplomatic toolkit. They're absolutely perfect for those times when you can see the merit in someone's idea, but you also have a different perspective to add. The key words here are but and however. They act like a bridge. They let you validate their point first before you introduce your own. This, right here, is the art of navigating nuance.
So here's a classic debate. Someone says online learning is better than classroom learning. Now, a hard no would just build a wall between you, but instead, imagine saying, "I see your point." You've immediately shown them you're listening. Then you pivot with, "However, classroom interaction is also important." See what just happened? You didn't start a fight. You actually broadened the entire discussion. That is the power of partial agreement.
And now we've reached the highest skill level, mastering how to disagree with respect. Let's completely reframe how we think about this. Disagreement doesn't have to be about conflict at all. When you do it right, it's actually a tool for exploring ideas more deeply, for finding the best possible solution, and for showing your own critical thinking skills.
Okay, before we go any further, there is one golden rule we have to talk about. In professional English, the phrase "you are wrong" is an absolute conversation killer. It's seen as disrespectful, and it just slams the door on any chance for a productive dialogue. Seriously, the single most important thing you can do is to just remove this phrase from your vocabulary and use the smarter tools we're about to cover.
And here are those tools. Notice how much softer the language is? "I'm afraid," "I'm not sure." These phrases signal that you have a different opinion, but they do it without making it a personal attack. And "I see it differently" is a fantastic one because it frames your view as just that, a different perspective, not some absolute truth that's better than theirs. So how do you actually put this into practice? Well, here's a super simple 3-step strategy. Step 1, acknowledge their point. You can start with something like, "That's an interesting point." Step 2, signal that you have a different view. Use one of those polite phrases like, "I see it differently." And finally, step 3, state your reason. This is the most crucial part. Don't just disagree, explain why. This is what turns a potential conflict into a really valuable contribution. Let's watch this 3-step process in action. So the statement is, English grammar is not important. A blunt no gets you absolutely nowhere. So instead, you politely signal your disagreement. "I'm afraid I don't agree." Then you give your reason. Grammar helps us communicate clearly. See the result? You've disagreed, sure, but you've also added value, and you've kept the conversation moving forward.
So, there you have it. We've gone all the way from simple agreement to nuanced partial agreement, and right up to respectful disagreement. You now have a full communication toolkit with phrases and strategies to help you handle pretty much any professional conversation with way more confidence.
Think of this as your own personal cheat sheet for professional conversations. In the Agree column, you've got your tools for building rapport. In the middle, your phrases for handling those tricky gray areas, and on the right, your toolkit for disagreeing respectfully. These are the core phrases you can start practicing today to immediately upgrade your communication game.
So, as we wrap this up, the final question isn't just about what you've learned. It's about what you're going to do with it. With these new tools, you're not just participating in conversations anymore. You're ready to lead them, to persuade, and to contribute in a way that really matters. So, whose mind will you change first?
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel.